where I keep all my things. I get a lot of compliments on this. Plus, it's not a man purse. It's called a satchel. Indiana Jones wears one. Hello, guys, and welcome back into the Bro 4 Squad podcast. This is episode 46. Wow, we made it. That's a milestone, right? 46? Isn't that's the number of chilies that Banner's not allowed back in? I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. We are just a bunch of bros talking superheroes, movies, and superhero movies. Let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go to the aforementioned mad scientist Brian Banner, a man who I've seen twice escorted out of a Waffle House for varying reasons. So, Brian, do you take any responsibility for either of those two incidents?
All I'm going to say, probably a top 5 moment of my life, as well as a bottom 5 moment of my life, all at the same time.
In the same moment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Lots of moments.
Sounds like my first wedding. Next to our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, who I've heard is considering running for city council next fall. Matt, when people dig up old episodes of the podcast, will you still have a chance to win?
Jeff, let me tell you, I got 2 Make-A-Wish kids, a transgender person, and a cancer-surviving dog at my beck and call. I'll be just fine.
Wow, you were very well prepared. Not to mention a shit ton of signs out by the highway that say vote for Matt.
Yeah, right.
That I saw. Those look good. Those are popping.
It just says, I'll enforce the enforcements.
Yeah, right.
That's actually a fucking awesome slogan.
It says, don't think, just vote. Don't think about it, just vote.
He says, I'll show you, I won't just tell you.
Well, if you have never listened to our podcast before, thank you for joining us. It does not get any less ridiculous, but we like to break our show down into 3 categories. The first category is always the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. So today's chest day topic, I'm sure by now we've all seen this Disney Pixar bracket that has been circulating on Twitter, and while some people's picks have ranged from controversial to just flat out wrong, it did spark a debate among us. But between 2 very similar movies that both came out in 1998 that we realized we're willing to die over. Those 2 films are A Bug's Life, released by the aforementioned Disney Pixar, and the movie Antz, which was released by DreamWorks. So what we're going to do today, if you've ever listened to one of our reviews or any of our Movie Madness tournaments, we grade movies in a scale of 5 criteria. So Banner and I are going to dig into our corners and actually debate/argue over these 2 films.
I'll kill
while
you.
Matthew F. Geiger
I'm not even kidding.
In real life?
Maybe.
I like the passion. While Matt will preside as our judge. Matt, I'll turn it over to you since you have your gavel ready.
Okay, so basically, Jeff's in the corner of Antz, and Banner's in the corner of A Bug's Life, and they're going to try to get me to watch one of these movies tonight. To be honest, I'm going to pick one of these movies to win. After this pod, I still got 4 beers left, and I could either masturbate, watch SportsCenter, or golf. So I'll probably do one of those things. Let's just pretend I'll watch one of these movies.
Antz is so good, you could masturbate while you watch it.
I could masturbate to one of these. You're probably right. Okay, I probably actually will watch one of these that you guys select to me. So we're going to call this Bro v. Bro. And as you know, we grade everything on 5 criteria: cast, story, best scene, impacts on pop culture, and rewatchability. So let's go to Jeff Hornacek's corner, wearing, I guess, green trunks with Antz.
I'm not wearing any trunks, bro.
Okay, take it away with cast.
Oh, if any of us is naked, it's going to be me.
Fine, you're naked. I have on just socks.
Okay, let's go to the blue corner. Bug's Life, cast, Banner. You go first.
Okay. We've got the heavy hitter, boy toucher, Kevin Spacey. Okay? Honestly,
You've already lost.
Honestly,
and
I'm
that's
not going
about
to win
it.
this, but the biggest argument here that Jeff had earlier in the week was that Antz could run circles around this. So maybe like laps. Excuse me. I'll give you half a lap. We've got Kevin Spacey, Hayden Panettiere. We've got Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
She's hot.
Yeah, she is hot.
She's hot. Okay, and the chick from Seinfeld and Christmas Vacation. Okay.
Yep. We have David Hyde Price.
Pierce.
It's Pierce, but I know his name.
Look,
okay.
I'm a little intoxicated. It's fine. Dennis Leary. Come on, guys. Bonnie Hunt.
Rescue me.
Yep.
Yeah, Bonnie Hunt from Jerry Maguire.
Okay. Need I say more? Mainly because I don't have a whole lot more.
You don't, because Jeff hasn't gone yet. Who plays Flick? Which one of those plays Flick?
None of them, actually. Dave Foley plays Flick.
Ooh, there we go. Dave Foley, right? Yeah.
Jeff,
Right.
I'm still an undecided voter, so it's your
I'll
turn.
make this quick and painless, Banner. Woody Allen, Sly Stallone, Sharon Stone, Jennifer Lopez. Now we get into the real heavy hitters. Gene Hackman, Christopher Walken, Danny Glover, Dan Aykroyd. It's over.
Wow. So Antz takes the first point. Banner, that's a lot of Academy Award, Oscar winners, and Stallone.
But you have David Hyde, Price Pierce.
Yeah, no, see, it's
Aykroyd's
fine.
in that. That's cool.
I knew I didn't have a chance with Geiger as long as Stallone was in it, and he has atypical Stallone quotes in it. There was no way I was getting past that.
If Sharon Stone plays a junkie ex-hooker Antz like she did in Casino, then you might just lose this whole thing. So let's go right into story. Jeff, going back to you to story, you're up 1-0.
So Sharon Stone plays a bored princess aunt who basically tries to sleep with Woody Allen's aunt to make her dad angry. I already know that I'm speaking to Geiger with what we're saying right now. But here's what this movie really has. It's a darker animated film. It has love, betrayal, massive ant deaths, and Christopher Walken playing an ant with the ability to fly.
Jeff,
Not
you can't see me.
part.
The fans can't see me, but both of my fists are underneath my cheek, listening to you intently, like a little child listening to his grandpa tell war stories over the fire. Keep going.
I've never been more proud of you. And Sly Stallone plays a roided out soldier ant who does nothing but bench press and fighting. So that's the story for Antz. With a Z, I might add.
Dude, with a Z, did this come out in 2000 or 99?
98, yeah.
How cool were Z's at the end? We should bring that back. That should be in the Broforce squad.
What's
up?
Every AIM screen name worth its weight had a Z in it.
All right, Banner, story. A Bug's Life.
Geiger, I have one question for you. How much do you like Western movies?
I love Western movies.
This is essentially a Western movie, except it has bugs in it. Okay?
Okay.
You've got Flick, this ant that just doesn't quite fit in, but he goes out to save his town from the evil outlaws, the grasshoppers.
So they'd be like the Mexican army.
They are the Mexicans, but they can fly. Okay?
Awesome.
So they're definitely the Mexicans.
They're definitely the Mexicans. They come in, and they're trying to steal the crops of the ants. And Flick goes out, and he finds a band of other bugs to save the day.
Kind of like Magnificent Seven.
Exactly like Magnificent Seven. Need I say more?
Peter, that was really close to a point, but since you used the word Western, I'm going to give you the point. So 1-1. To best scene. Banner, you're red hot. I'm going to just pass you back the ball. Keep going.
All right.
If Flick asks a guy to go outside and they do a walk-off and do like a fucking showdown, then I'm probably just going to give you the point, not even let Jeff talk, but keep going.
In that case, that definitely happens. Totally happens.
Does it really?
No, unfortunately not. I have integrity.
Flick's a pussy.
He's kind of a pussy, but he gets the pussy in the end. All right. So
do you have a best scene?
The best scene. There's a scene where Kevin Spacey's character, Hopper, he actually realizes that the ants aren't producing the crops that they need. And he comes in and destroys their anthill. Comes in and says, look, motherfuckers, if you guys don't give us our food for the winter, we're going to kill every single one of you. Very, very well delivered, especially for an animated film. You can feel the emotion, feel the conviction in his voice when he comes down and is talking to Flick and to the princess and to Dot, who's just a fucking kid, by the way, but he doesn't care. Very dark, very scary.
Jeff,
all right.
Best scene.
My best scene is a graphic and brutal fight scene among the ants. The ants army. Well, the movie's not rated G like yours, bruh. Between the ant colony and a termite colony, where the termite colony effectively is ripping the ants to shreds. And there's a very poignant death scene between Danny Glover's character dying on the battlefield, telling Z not to take orders from anyone else. If you watch this, it kind of looks like that scene in The Patriot where the cannonball gets shot and it just fucking rips the dude's leg off in the middle of the battlefield. Yeah, that's basically what this scene is. It's much more visceral and gritty than anything A Bug's Life has to offer. I'll tell you that.
Wow. That goes to Jeff. 2-1. Guys, I don't know if you know how I'm judging this, but if you say an anthill looks like ScarJo's tits, I'm probably going to give you the points. So I don't know if you're catching on or not. Impacts on pop culture. Banner.
First Pixar movie. What is Pixar today? This spawned Toy Story, Toy Story 2, and 3, and maybe 4, which is dumb. Monsters, Inc., which won that stupid fucking tournament, and it shouldn't have. The Incredibles. This it started it all. If this brought back Disney animation, first off, and again, it brought back it is Pixar. Without this movie, we would have none of these other movies coming up. Finding Nemo, the new Coco movie, Academy Award winner, not a big deal. This started Pixar. This is the first one. If this wasn't successful, we wouldn't have any other movies still going today.
Oh, God. I need this bad.
I'm saying this, and I mean that. That was actually very well said.
So,
Jeff.
Banner, real quick, you said A Bug's Life in 1998, first Disney Pixar movie, right?
Uh-oh.
Oh, damn, that's so weird because Toy Story came out in 1995.
Oh, 6, I think.
3 years before A Bug's Life came out.
Yeah, but it was a late
kind
bloomer.
of odd to me.
Late bloomer.
That's kind of odd to me.
It's fine.
That
was a
came
cult
out.
Classic.
Antz, however, although DreamWorks does not have near the cavalcade of movies that Pixar does, this movie came out 3 years before Shrek, which is DreamWorks' more famous animated series. And what it did was it gave them the credence to say audiences can handle a little more adult-themed, a little edgier type animated movies. Because if you go back and rewatch Shrek, there's a lot of adult humor mixed in there, not just for kids. So this really laid the platform for that. And also, I didn't lie in my argument, so I think I should get the point.
No, you actually just, all you did was you did actual research. I just went off of my memory as a child. So, I mean, there's
Banner,
that.
I like what you said. And in America, somebody can fact check you and you can still get the presidency even by being wrong. So I'm going to give you the point for that. Because I did like what you said. And honestly, I like Pixar better than DreamWorks. So it's 2-2 going into rewatchability. Jeff.
All right, since we don't need facts, Heath Ledger is in my movie and he plays the Joker in live action. That's why it's more rewatchable. Since the facts don't matter. No, in all honesty, I can't really defend Antz for rewatchability. It's not on TV as much. It's not as funny, which makes it a lot harder to rewatch. It's a little more dark. And the subject matter, especially Gene Hackman's character, is pretty ruthless. He wants to commit genocide the entire movie. So it's also, like I said, it's not on TV and it's not as wide distributed. So I really can't defend Antz for rewatchability, to be honest with you.
You know what's really funny here, Jeff? I was actually going to say Bug's Life is harder to watch because Antz is currently on Netflix.
Oh. But A Bug's Life is on Disney Channel.
It is on Disney Channel. In this week, I've actually watched both movies on their independent platforms. Disney Channel had Bug's Life, and Antz is on Netflix. But to win this point, I will say Bug's Life had a better video game as a kid.
That's rewatchability?
Yeah, because you basically watch the movie as you play it.
It's not possible.
Nope,
but okay.
That's exactly what happens.
I don't even know who to give this point to because you're both were just fucking awful on this. I'll probably give it to A Bug's Life because rewatchability. I have not watched it, but I've seen it more on TV, like Jeff says. I didn't know Antz was on Netflix, but fucking everything's on Netflix. But honestly, on TV, even I've seen A Bug's Life on FX for Christ's sake. So I'm gonna give it to A Bug's Life. That's how you know it's a good
movie if it makes it to FX. As long as it's not on Spike TV. Antz goes
Banner,
on
you already
Spike's
win.
TV.
Stop saying stupid stuff.
I don't know. I think when you give this one back to me, he talked a little extra.
Jeff, missed opportunity for you, though. Gene Hackman being ruthless. You should have brought up The Unforgiven. I love Westerns. You could have got a point there. And just reference an anthill looking like boobs, and you guys probably could have won the whole thing. But what do I know? I'm just the judger. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, so I guess A Bug's Life apparently wins. It also dominated our Twitter poll, which you guys can go check out at Bro4Squad pretty thoroughly, 80% to 20%. But I'm still going to die on the Antz Hill pun, completely intended, because I know that it's a better movie. Tweet at us again at Bro4Squad. Let us know your thoughts, how fucking stupid we are, how right we are, or how confused you are as to why we both gave up at the very last point. All right, we don't have a protein shake area today. We're just going to go.
Also, guys, tweet at us other bro versus bros that you guys want us to debate, because there's a good chance we're not going to be on the same page.
Yeah, we can do no strings attached and friends with benefits next.
Yeah,
we'll do it unless
whatever
you
you
tweet
want
at
to
us.
Just two like-minded films. Comment below.
Look,
I mean, we could do
Friends with
sports
Benefits has
movies.
JT in it. It's
versus
gonna
easier.
win.
Okay, on to the last part of our show, our question answer segment. Or do you even lift bruh segment? Banner, I know. That was absurd. It's basically where we dig up some of our favorite questions from around the internet and we answer them on our show because it's our show and we can do whatever the hell we want. Our first question comes to us from Luis A. Rivera at shit, which is maybe the best Twitter handle we've ever read on this show, and that's saying something because we found some awesome ones. And his question is, if you can take any sports team and make a movie out of them, which team and why? For me, it would be the Chicago Bulls from 1996. That team was epic, and I would just love to see the Slovakian guy that got to play Tony Kukoc in the movie. Good answer there, Luis. Matt, we'll go to you first because I picked this question out pretty much just to hear what your answer would be. So what do you think about Luis's question?
Yeah, after thinking about it, I kind of switched my answer, and I don't know if this is cheating or not because this is technically not a sports team, but mine would be 2007 to 2010 Tiger Woods, just because it's kind of hard to find a porno where someone's eating waffles and fucking the waitress at the same time at a Waffle House, and I just like to see that be on screen. I think it could be an Oscar winner. But it's basically just him playing golf, gambling in Vegas, and just cheating on his wife every 2 seconds. But I think that would be a fantastic film.
I still think the craziest part of that
play him,
story.
of course.
Yeah. The craziest part of that story to me is that Tiger Woods went to a Waffle House at one point.
The craziest thing to me is that he banged that waitress. She was hideous looking. The other chicks were pretty decent looking, but that one, she was just terrible.
Look, sometimes you can't appreciate a 9 unless you get with a 2. You know, that's
true.
why I married my ex-wife Rachel.
Hey, sometimes you can't appreciate birdies until you slop in a double bogey, hit a ball OB.
All right, Banner, what's a sports team that you would like to make a movie out of?
I think it would be really, really cool if we had a movie that was the 1992 Olympic basketball team, the Dream Team, just watching them crushing chicks, slamming beers in Barcelona for 5 days, where you got Charles Barkley going, I don't know where Angola is, but they in trouble. Just give me a movie of that team going through practice and the Olympic trials and blah blah blah, all that, all the way to winning the gold as the Dream Team. I think that would be a really cool movie to see.
That's the tagline. I don't know where Angola is, but they in trouble. That'd be a great fucking movie. For me, I'm gonna go another. Yeah, this is a great question, Luis. Thank you. I'm going to go with another basketball team, the infamous Portland Jailblazers teams of the late 90s, early 2000s. Basically, the team had like 6 convicts on their 12-man roster that Mike Dunleavy somehow had to contain and coach because they were just good at basketball. And just seeing what they would do in the locker room after games when they weren't serving time in a federal penitentiary, I think would make for a great movie. All right.
That movie's called the Portland Jailblazers with the tagline of "Just don't get caught again."
Was it Bonzi Wells that pulled a gun on a teammate? Or no, that was Gilbert Arenas, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas on Javaris Crittenton, but I'm sure Bonzi Wells did that as also.
I'm sure he did pull a gun on it. He just wasn't stupid enough to get caught with it.
Yeah, well, they didn't even have a no guns rule in the locker room just because they wouldn't have any players in the locker room.
Yeah, they were encouraged, actually. You couldn't get in the locker room unless you were carrying a 9.
I could see Mike Dunn leaving the locker room after Bonzi Wells pulls a gun on someone. Bonzi loved the passion. Our second question comes to us from Brian McGee. Wow, I can't read. Sorry about that. At the Nacho King, who asks, with Westerns not being as popular as they once were, do you think they could make a comeback? Also, what is your favorite Western movie? For me, it's 3:10 to Yuma. Brian, that is a fucking incredible movie. The scene where they're at the campfire and they wake up and Russell Crowe is just viciously stabbing that guy in the throat. Pretty intense movie scene. Geiger, we'll go to you. I know I tossed to you last question, but you're our resident Western expert here. What do you think about Brian's question?
Yeah, great movie. Great Twitter handle. Ben Foster is forgotten in that movie too, and he's fucking fantastic in 3:10 to Yuma. Can Westerns make a comeback? Actually, I thought they were. Me and Banner saw Magnificent Seven, actually in Bro Force Squad history. That's one of the first movie reviews we've ever done. That wasn't a history. Yeah, that wasn't a comic book movie. Yep. It was the first movie review we've ever done, and I actually thought Westerns were going to make a comeback after that. However, there hasn't been any other Westerns since fucking that, and I don't really understand why. My favorite one, it's got to be a John Wayne one, man. I love all John Wayne movies. If I had to pick one, gun to my head, it'd probably be El Dorado. Just the story in it, it's a longer one, so I like to I can drink a whole six-pack while watching it. I love grilling a steak and watching John Wayne. Live in Texas, there's nothing better than that. I think the directing pretty well holds up too, and the fight scenes and the action scenes. I think that was John Wayne's best character, and is my favorite story. So I'm going with El Dorado. Banner.
Nice.
I think I'm actually going to go with what you suggest is the Magnificent Seven.
The original or the remake?
Great question.
The remake.
I think I'm going to go with the remake just because it's a little bit more my speed, my style, my generation. But the original is fantastic. I've actually seen the original, the one that's based on the Japanese samurai one, which is good, but it's not a great watch. It's just a great movie. It's well put together. You've got a lot of big names all just doing what they do. And it's a really good movie. Rewatchability is real high on that. I've actually watched it 3 or 4 times since it came out. Was that in 2016? 2 years? So, great movie.
Just letting you guys know, too, if you're just listening to us, we try to be unique. So not all of us are going to fucking pick Tombstone. We get that Tombstone's fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But it'd be boring if we just all picked that. But don't comment below and say Tombstone. We recognize Tombstone. It's a great movie.
Yeah, Tombstone is understood. It is implicit on this list. For me, actually, I'll go a little recent too. I've really enjoyed the last 2 Tarantino Westerns. I love Django mainly because of Leonardo DiCaprio's Alvin Candy character. He was just incredible. Didn't really enjoy Christoph Waltz in it that much as kind of the eccentric dentist, but all the other characters worked really well for me. And The Hateful Eight, look, I know this is such a polarizing film. Some people cannot sit through it. They don't understand it. It's boring as fuck to them, and I get that. But to me, it just builds tension for literally 1 hour and 45 minutes, and then shit just, maybe even longer than that, actually. And then shit just explodes and hits the fan, and I loved Kurt Russell in it. And the twist and sort of there's a surprise person who shows up in the movie that I really liked later. But also I have to give a shout out. It's not a good Western, but it played off a lot of Western stereotypes and paid homage to a lot. And that's Back to the Future 3, which is just like a guilty pleasure.
It might be one of the most fun Westerns though, because it's not a Western, but it is.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, if I can describe a movie like that.
Does it take itself seriously at all?
Probably not. No, not when you see the fucking shirt that Marty McFly wears the whole movie. Our last question comes to us from Kinsley at Kinsler Reish, who wants to know, what are your favorite movies with depressing endings? I'll go first on this one. We've gone back and forth on this pre-pod, so this is a great question, Kinsley. We're a little sick on this pod. We sometimes like movies that we leave just wondering what's the point in going on anymore. Should we even go to work tomorrow? Because why? Why does money matter? For me, I have The Mist, the Thomas Jane version. I haven't watched the show, really, and I know it's based on a Stephen King book. One of the most depressing endings. Like, I can't even conceptualize an ending in my head that would be more depressing than the ending to The Mist. It's almost comical. Like, you almost laugh. And then The Departed, while it's not, like, depressing right away because everything happens so quickly, you're just like, holy shit. Like, an hour later, you're like, my God, that was dark. When you're like sitting on the couch or having more beers with your friends. So those are my 2. Both I really enjoyed his movies as well. Banner, will go to you next.
First off, we're fucked up if we think that the most depressing movie is funny at the end.
It's just so depressing. You're like, did they really just do that?
Yeah. One that I'm gonna go that just like I don't know if it's so much depressing, like makes me want to contemplate life. It's just fucking sad. If you guys seen The Fault in My Stars, very sad ending.
Sure.
Like you go the whole movie thinking it's gonna go this way, and it ends up going the other way. And that was one that I actually watched in a hotel room by myself, drinking a bottle of whiskey. Not a great situation for me.
That's hilarious. Geiger, how about you? I just had to.
I'm just
get my
picturing
mental
Banner
image.
with his shirt off, drinking whiskey, crying. But okay.
Same here. He's like, they love each other.
That's exactly what happened. I was on a work trip, drinking whiskey, eating popcorn, watching that movie. It was on HBO, and I was like, well, fuck. I don't know what to do now.
That's when you put on.
If I
like,
watch
I'm
that
gonna
with
watch
you,
this-
you'd just be screaming, "What's in the box?" Or like, Banner, that doesn't even pertain to this at all. It's like, well, what's in the box?
I guarantee you, Banner put on. He's like, I'm just gonna watch this for like 10 stupid minutes and laugh at it. Cuts to 30 minutes later. He's like leaning forward on his bed, fucking feet
Tell her you
kicked
love
up.
her. She's right there. Why do
Say
you
it,
say?
you might not get another chance. All right,
Okay,
Geiger,
well, I'm going to stay true to the question because they asked for movies. The most depressed I've ever been is after making a murderer. I mean, so much that if I stopped at a stoplight and a cop had a boot asking for a donation, I would think he's trying to fucking, frame me for some murder I didn't.
trying to get your DNA, dude. Obviously.
Yeah, that's probably the most crazy depressed I've ever been. But I'm gonna do two movies. One, Dances with Wolves at the end when they do the Trail of Tears. That's really fucking sad. Terrible part of our nation's history that we don't really talk about. The other one, on kind of a lighter note, I guess, but the end of Dumb and Dumber. It honestly depresses me and pisses me off every time after I see it, because that's a perfect comedy, but I'm like, dude, just get on the fucking bus. Like, we get it. You're the greatest comedy ever, but like, just stop your stick. Like, come on. There's no way they wouldn't get on the bus and be their soaked up bikini boys the whole fucking trip.
Matt,
That's
they'll
my take.
catch their break. They just got to keep their eyes peeled for it. Okay, it'll come along. Every time I watch that movie, I hope that I'm seeing an alternate ending though, where they do actually just decide to get on the bus.
You know that
You're
footage is out there somewhere.
I hope so. I hope we live in that type of world.
That's
They
what
even
makes
do it too. They drive away, and then Lloyd's like, "Do you realize what you've done?" And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And he's like chasing it down. He's like, "No, the town's back that way." I'm like, "What's the?"
Well, you don't want
God
them driving the wrong way. God.
damn, Jesus.
On that note, we have been the Bro Force Squad. For our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, and the mad scientist, Brian Banner. I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, Bro Force Squad, 3 words. If you could leave us a 5-star iTunes review, we would really appreciate it. It helps the show out. And as always, check out everything that we're doing, our squad blog and our Bro Force Squad Hall of Fame, over on our website at broforcesquad.com.
Hey,
You
Jeff,
realize what you've done?
do you see that scoreboard? That's Banner 1, Horns 0.
Can't believe A Bug's Life came out before Toy Story.
Banner.
Bear can't either.